Today marks 55 years since one of the most devastating storms to ever hit Iowa took aim at Olwine and Charles City. Both communities took hits from F5 tornadoes less than an hour apart. 50 years ago today, on March 29, 1973, the last U.S. combat troops left Vietnam, signaling the end of direct military involvement in a decades-long conflict. I spoke with veterans in Cedar Rapids reflecting on their service all those years ago. Weather First meteorologist Rebecca Kopelman joins us live in Czech Village today ahead of Hobie Days. It's kicking off later on tonight. Rebecca, hopefully no quite literally raining on the parade today. Headed to the DMV, you may be waiting around a bit. Long wait times have been seen at locations in southern Oregon due to staffing shortages across the state. That's your top story at noon. News 10's Tiffany Olin is live at the Medford DMV with a look. And Tiffany, what can you tell us right now? I'm joined in the studio by members of the Peppercorn Food Company. We've got owner Jude Villafana, we got general manager Troy Schultz, and executive chef Megan Schultz. And they're showing me today how to prep some scallops and jumbo scallops in risotto. So I haven't had breakfast this morning. And Governor Kim Reynolds and 24 other GOP governors are speaking out against proposed protections under Title IX for transgender student athletes. Tuesday, the Iowa House passed an amended bill that would change child labor laws in Iowa. Now kids under 16 can work 6 hours a day instead of 4. They can also work until 9 p.m. during the school year and 11 during the summer. The amendments include taking out school training programs that would have let kids under 16 do certain prohibited jobs under Iowa law. You may have noticed just something a hair off. For this week's Pay It Forward, I got a chance to hear the story behind the grizzled looks around the office. Andrew with Tryon Investments is joining us once again for a look at 3 tips for those about to enter retirement. Those golden years are just right there. And large groups of migrants are working their way towards the U.S. in anticipation of the end of the program that denied them entry because of the COVID-19 pandemic. Do you think timing comes into play there as well? I know we're coming up on another election season. I mean, I know it's been a couple of years in the running anyway.
Yeah, it'd been over 3 years.
And the 149th running of the Kentucky Derby takes place tomorrow. And 3 of the horses in the race will be from Iowa: Cyclone Mischief, Chase's Road, and Angel of Empire. All 3 are owned by Albo Stables in Ankeny. And we now know the name of the man killed when a train hit his semi near Lisbon. The Iowa State Patrol says it happened near Highway 30. Investigators say the semi, driven by a 47-year-old Todd Evans, was trying to cross the tracks when the train hit him. Authorities say their investigation continues. Congressman George Santos, the New York Republican, is not only infamous for lies he told about his backstory, he's now facing more than a dozen federal charges for fraud and money laundering. Being hailed as the best burger in the state of Iowa. In your second half hour, we go to the Flight Bar and Grill in Huxley and see why the foundation is a must-eat. You're watching Iowa's News Now. I know for my sake, I don't have a lot of choreography on my part. I just kind of read through my stuff. No, not yet. But, and touching on that, you have an upcoming show. Special counsel found the Bureau made critical errors in its investigation into possible links between Russia and the Trump 2016 campaign. The organization says breeders in Iowa had their dogs living in filthy and sometimes hazardous conditions. At one of the breeders, they found a dead puppy the owner hadn't even noticed. And before Governor Reynolds even signs it into law, the U.S. Labor Department says Iowa's new child labor rules violate federal labor laws. The Labor Department has more than 600 child labor investigations across the U.S., including in Iowa. Ahoy, and thanks for sticking with us for more News 10. Good morning.
Here's meteorologist Holden McCoy with one last look at our weather. Sorry, my hat is blocking you. Hold on.
No, it's fine. I'm back with Sandra Bullock and Johnny Depp right now.
A lot of fun activities planned for really everyone in the family. And right off the bat, this is worth its weight in gold right here of Morels. So as we kick off today at 5, what are some things that people can look forward to for this year's event? As that cooks, we'll check back in with Weather First meteorologist Rebecca Kopelman.
Yeah. You're never too young for Legos. Just want to point that out, especially if parents are watching.
That's right, Mom.
You're never too young or too old for Legos. But as we continue on.
And leaders in Washington realistically only have a matter of days to reach a deal to raise the debt ceiling and begin the legislative process before the Treasury runs out of ways to pay the nation's bills. And one person is in the hospital after a shooting in downtown Iowa City over the weekend. Police patrolling the area heard shots fired just before midnight on Saturday outside the parking ramp on Iowa Avenue. That's right, Sophia. Thank you. I am here at the Craterland Labs for Christmas at the Farm event, and I'm joined by a couple new friends. This is Freckles. They got Mojave, and I actually do not remember his first name, excuse me. But these guys are going to be here tonight from 6 to 8 p.m. for the live nativity scene here. That's going to be a drive-through event, and it's $10. This $10 proceeds goes to FFA, so it's Future Farmers of America, but there still is quite the heavy police presence here. So if you are driving in this area, motorists are advised to kind of stay out of this area. And right here in the valley now, a lot of that winter weather has cleared up for the good portion of today. There was a little bit of snow here in Medford this morning, but that doesn't mean drivers should not still be careful of hazards in and around the area. If you take a look at this video, this is a dash cam footage of an ODOT vehicle driving on I-5. You can see this tree is coming down, just nearly hitting his vehicle there, and actually shut down I-5 for a brief portion. That's in the Wolf Creek area.
John McMahon is live in Jacksonville buying a ticket of his own. John, did you get the winning ticket yet, or?
Not yet. We're going to see it right now. So thanks, Molly. But I'm actually here in Rays right now, and Gary follow along with me here to grab this ticket. But as I kind of do this, Jacksonville really is not a stranger to winning big. Not only is this a gold rush town, it's also a lottery town. Jackpotville is kind of what it's been dubbed here over the last couple of years. Since 2001, there has been 5 big ticket winners here, with this location actually in 2005 winning a combined $340 million. I'm going to check out my quick pick ticket. And look at that. It looks like a winner. I'm not going to show all my numbers there. But like I said, a lot of people have been in this store throughout the morning that I've been here grabbing these tickets. And on the West Coast for us, 7:59 is the time. Well, they'll announce those numbers. And again, that $596 million prize is the second largest payout, if that wins tonight, in Powerball history. So good luck to everyone else. But I think this is a winner. And yeah, if I don't come to work tomorrow, you might know why. Molly, back to you. Right now it's about 36 degrees, and as you can see behind me, visibility is not great. Driving up here, probably the last 4, 5, 6 exits coming up, you're going to hit a thick layer of fog heading south toward exit 6. Ahoy, Tyler, that's right. I am back at the Pirates and Parrots show here at the Expo, where I'm actually joined by Chris Bureau, who really is the show here at Pirates and Parrots. But the main thing here is that outside of the show here, Chris is a huge conservationist and really helps these parrots out. Chris, tell me a little bit about your nonprofit here. I'm on Southeast M Street. As you can see behind me, a lot of crews are out here trying to get that power back on. There's about 4 crane trucks behind me. They got chainsaws. They got crews out here dragging all of this stuff out to get that power back on. The cause of that, it's about 6:30 this morning. A tree came down, hit the lines, and it knocked out power for about 1,700 people here in Grants Pass. I am actually on top of the giant wheel here at the Expo, and I'm going to try my best to not really look down. So, you know, let's just jump right into that concert business. Both lanes of I-5 should now be open, and traffic should be going through there now. We did see an RV come off the road and actually hit one of these trees, pop up on the curb and hit this tree right here. We did notify Medford PD, but you can use that as a stark reminder here to really drive safe as you hit those roadways, especially here at East Medford, which is a little bit higher elevation, a little bit colder, and you can expect a lot more snow. This is Xena. She is a 15-year-old double yellow-headed Amazon. We can still expect only an inch right now, but the response to the snow here has especially been picking up in the past half hour or so. There's a lot of ODOT plows out here. There's some other city plows as well, and even a John Deere tractor out here with a plow on it going through the streets, really trying to clear out this snow as we head into the morning. A lot of fun stuff here, really cool birds. Come down here and you can see Charlie, and you can see us dressed as pirates. Reporting at the Expo, I'm John McMahon. Well, you might be able to see behind me some crews are still setting up for the headliner tonight. That headliner being Matt Stell. The whole thing kicks off at 7 p.m. So $10, and you can see these guys. For now in Central Point, me, and Freckles, I'm John McMahon for News 10. Sophia, back to you.
Willard Miller was set to go to trial for Noe McGraber's murder later this week. Jeremy Goodale's trial was scheduled for next month. Iowa's News Now anchor John McMahon brings us all the updates from Jefferson County tonight.
What is your plea to murder in the first degree, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
What is your plea to murder in the first degree, guilty or not guilty?
Guilty.
Willard Miller and Jeremy Goodale both pleading guilty Tuesday to first-degree murder for beating their high school Spanish teacher, Nohema Graber, to death in November 2021. Miller's defense detailed his account of what happened at a park near their school from nearly 2 years ago.
Mr. Miller, will you agree that on November 2nd, you were in Jefferson County at Chautauqua Park?
Yes.
And were you with Jeremy Goodale at that time?
Yes.
Did you act as a lookout while Jeremy Goodale struck Nohema Graber?
Yes.
Did you know that Jeremy intended to kill Mrs. Graber?
Yes.
Did Mrs. Graber die as a result of being struck?
Yes, she did.
Miller later claimed he never actually hit Graber with the baseball bat, saying he was only a lookout. State prosecutors refuted that claim, and Goodale had a different account from that day.
On November 2nd of 2021, I met Willard Miller at Chautauqua Park. I understood that he had the intent to kill Mrs. Graber. Chaden had brought a bat, among other supplies, to go through with the murder. And after he had struck Nohema Graber, we then moved her off of the trail, where I then struck her, and she died as a result.
Despite the disagreement, the judge accepted both guilty pleas. The state will recommend Miller get a minimum sentence of 30 years, and Goodale a minimum of 25 years. The judge still could get them the maximum penalty, life with a chance at parole. For Iowa's News Now, I'm John McMahon. We're back here at Donnelly's Pub in Iowa City, where the crowd has certainly showed up here for USA versus Wales. We checked in yesterday ahead of today's big game. We're going to check in with a few patrons and see what they're thinking.
You a big USA soccer fan?
I am a huge USA soccer fan. I've been a soccer fan since I grew up in Iowa City, playing soccer through Iowa City Kickers, and I'm glad that we've got a crew here that is excited about soccer.
And how long have you been here today?
Since the start of the match, 10 minutes to. It's great to be an American today.
That's all I got for you.
Thanks, man.
Hey, cheers. And as you can see, the enthusiasm for Team USA back in there is electric, and that's not going to stop anytime soon. They face up against England this Friday at 1 p.m. Reporting outside Donnelly's, I'm John McMahon, Iowa's News Now.
I've been doing art probably, if I had to say, my whole life, but I got serious about it when I was around like 8 years old.
Livian Crawford is a senior at Center Point Urbana High School and is using a passion for art in the classroom, being named a winner in a national poster contest for cybersecurity.
This poster contest came up, and I thought that it would be a great time for the students to show their knowledge of internet safety as well as use their creativity to alert other peoples on cybersecurity as well.
The contest, through the Center for Internet Security, is aimed to teach people about the dangers they may face online. Only 10 students are recognized across the entire United States.
So the whole point of the project was to make a poster that warns people about cybersecurity. I hope that they take a warning that you should really think before you do anything online, really.
The win is somewhat of a full circle moment for Livian, having learned a good deal about art through online tutorials.
I started with like YouTube tutorials, and the online space was my space when that's where I learned how to draw and all that stuff.
Livian plans to go to school for art and hopes for a career in the gaming industry, utilizing both art and computer science skills. Livian's teacher Ashley hopes the notoriety sparks interest in computer science for other students.
I'm hoping more and more students want to get involved, and seeing Liv's success, hopefully it encourages them to take part in it as well.
For Iowa's News Now, I'm John McMahon.